21 was a monumental record that set up a Herculean task for Adele. How does one even try to top themselves after releasing the biggest album of the century? Do you quit while you're ahead? In 2012, Adele announced a hiatus from music to live out her own life. This hiatus was short-lived as soon as she had her first child, Angelo, born in October of that year. Inspired by motherhood, Adele came back to the recording studio to record something not about heartbreak, but about life itself. Our biggest clue as to when this album would drop all the way back then came from a tweet on her 26th birthday, bye 25, see you again later in the year. 25, Adele's third album, dropped on November 20th, 2015, and unlike her previous works, it launched at the same time here in America and there in the UK, and internationally. This album serves as a reflective exercise in nostalgia and yearning for a return to simpler times. Adele even called it a makeup record in which she makes up with herself, not another person. You guys know how the drill works. I'm going to cover how this album came together, the tracks themselves, and the legacy of the record at large. Much like 21, this album was not an easy undertaking. Adele's early recording sessions back in 2013 were hampered by writer's block. Adele would reveal that she recorded an entire album about motherhood, but ultimately scrapped it because she thought it was boring material. There was a brief period of time where she'd go into a recording studio, take a break, then repeat with no real progress being made towards a cohesive project. Eventually, she found some progress by working with Kid Harpoon before working with Ryan Tedder once again, resulting in the only track of these sessions, Remedy, making the final cut. Rick Rubin, a big part of 21's production team, told Adele to go back to the drawing board as the songs that she had brought him lacked the depth and authenticity he had expected from her. Then the breakthrough happened. It wasn't until Adele had met and worked with Greg Kurstin that the album began to take its proper form. The track Hello came together over the course of 6 months. Adele and Kurstin took their time. Adele even played drums on the final recording.
Oh, that's me playing the drums.
No!
Sessions eventually continued as she ran to LA to collaborate with Tobias Gesso Jr. on what would become When We Were Young. Adele, Gesso, and Sia, yes, that's Sia, wrote what would become Alive and Bird Set Free off This Is Acting. Adele would ultimately reject these tracks. Bruno Mars and Adele came together to write All I Ask, initially trying to write something upbeat. Adele would call Ryan Tedder back into unproductive sessions. During one of these sessions, she heard Taylor Swift's I Knew You Were Troubled. Ryan Tedder would connect Adele with Max Martin, and the two would rework a very old song from her teenage days into Send My Love to Your New Lover. The album was shaping up to be a very different record, one that leaned more on modern production, electronic elements, and some touches of 80s R&B. Exile and Columbia would begin charting when to release this album, aiming for sometime in November 2015. One Direction, Justin Bieber, and Five Sauce all brought their albums ahead of 25 to avoid losing sales. Rihanna and Kanye West both postponed Q4 releases to avoid losing sales as well. I will personally never forget October 18th when Adele had released a clip of Hello for the world to hear. This simple teaser sent everyone wild. Days later, she would reveal the album's title and meaning through a letter to fans. Exile and Columbia set up an insane promo schedule, including an SNL performance and specials for both NBC and BBC where Adele would perform tracks live. Much like Taylor Swift's 1989, the album was withheld from streaming, made available in the June of the following year. This move was made to ensure that the record would really break records. The album opened at number 1 in 32 different countries' charts. In the US alone, it sold 2.3 million units in its first 3 days, breaking Nielsen's record for most units with over 3 million in its first week. And those are just the American figures themselves. Adele would break many records in the UK and elsewhere. It is the second best-selling record of the 2010s behind 21, and it was certified diamond. Adele is the only artist in the 2010s to have 2 diamond records. Critically speaking, the album was well received, but many noted that it was not quite the record 21 was. Many noted Adele's maturity in vocals, while others felt like it was way too safe, leaning back on formulaic, piano-driven ballads that wine moms adore. Regardless, this record would go on to sweep the 2017 Grammys, taking home Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album, while Hello took Record and Song of the Year and Best Pop Solo. Greg Kurstin would take home Producer of the Year that night as well. At the ceremony, Adele candidly claimed that Beyoncé's Lemonade deserved the top honor of the night, a judgment that I actually agree with. Continuing her dominance over sales, awards, and the general public at large, 25 was a success, but does it hold up? Let's find out. Hello was the ultimate comeback single. This track is a perfect reintroduction to Adele and is handily a favorite of mine. From the melancholic conversational tone of the lyrics to that Javier Dolan filmed music video on IMAX cameras, it's a timeless ballad that really holds up. I personally did not know that Adele had played the drums itself. It's just such a well-constructed song. Every part adds together into an explosive final product, and the bridge is literally just her vocalizing and saying any more, but it works so well. Send My Love to Your New Lover is a favorite of mine as well. It's Max Martin and Shellback's work. They are frequent Taylor Swift collaborators, which really gives this a fun and poppy spin. But what really takes me out is that it really still sounds like an Adele song. The guitar plucking and drumming sequencing really gives Adele space to show a new side of herself. There's parts of 19 in there, but they're really refined, and it's a really good breakup anthem. We Ain't Kids No More is such a simple, beautiful line. I Miss You is a Paul Epworth production and one of the most inventive deep cuts that I've heard from Adele so far. The production with the drums and the vocals take my breath every time, but the lyrics are such a strong improvement over anything we got on 21. It's extremely candid and intimate as a song. I like the juxtaposition between the physicality of the relationship and the emptiness of the emotional world she wants from this guy. When We Were Young is my favorite single off the record. This song sounds like a future classic, like a long-lost Elton John cut. The verses tell the story so well, but the chorus and the pre-chorus do such a great job of rendering utter nostalgia. The bridge breaks my heart every time I hear it, and the breakdown where she goes into that killer note is truly a classic moment. Ariel Rechtschide's production, His Mind. He's produced for Carly Rae Jepsen, Charlie XCX, and Haim. Remedy is likely the oldest track recorded for this record, dating back to the 2013 sessions of Ryan Tedder. It's lyrically about her son and being a mother, and it reads like a really nice lullaby. Sonically, it sounds like Make You Feel My Love, but reconfigured. It's not a personal favorite of mine, but I do think it's a sweet addition, if not derivative. Water Under the Bridge is the fourth and final single for the record, and a personal favorite of mine. This song is a disco pop exploration of whether or not her man really wants to commit to the relationship and how amazed she is that it hasn't been an utter train wreck. I like the reversal of roles in here and that she's actually excited to be in a relationship for once and is waiting for that reciprocation. The pre-chorus again, one of the few things that she does extremely wonderfully and launches us into a beautifully crafted refrain. It's very gospel-y yet modern. Kirsten's production is top-notch. River Lee, produced by Danger Mouse, is a track that really sounds different from the rest of her discography. This song talks about a real-life river that Adele used to live by as a child. Thematically, it's an inversion of Hometown Glory in that she actually blames her badness on where she came from. Love in the Dark is the quintessential Adele breakup song, but from a different perspective. Adele actually laments a relationship that gives her everything she wants, but not everything she needs. She needs to break up with this guy because there's no real love on her end, and the strings and the arrangement just really hammer that in so tragically. This one's a wine mom divorcee classic. A Million Years Ago is a highlight for me. This track should have been a release. It's just beautifully produced by Kirsten. It interpolates the Phantom of the Opera, but it's a wistful ode to times long past. Adele had driven past Brockwell Park, where she spent so much time as a child singing to her friends and picking up a guitar, and she just wrote this song. It's heartbreaking in the way that a breakup anthem just can't be. You can always find someone new, but you can't go back to the most precious moments in your life. All I Ask is a stunning power ballad co-written with Bruno Mars. It's literally the cheesiest Adele song possible. It's melodramatic like a Bruno Mars song should be. It's actually also a cursed song because apparently there was a mic malfunction at the Grammys and later at a tour date, leading her to strike the song off her set list. The final track off the standard edition of the album is Sweetest Devotion, a Greg Kurstin production about the joys of motherhood. I thought this was a sweet and nice way to close out the album and remind us that Adele is growing as an artist and a person. I'm gonna be a little controversial here and say that 25 is my personal favorite Adele album. While it doesn't have the sparkling highs of 21, it's a solid, cohesive record that's weirdly more human than her previous works. There are a few lows on the records, but each of the tracks really dive into the idea of, like, who is this woman beyond being a heartbroken songstress that we've come to know and love. I think it deserved the success it got. Whoa guys, I didn't realize I was gonna go over time talking about 25, but thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment what your favorite track off the record is. I'm done with my Adele series until she launches her new album sometime next month. A super quick shout out to members, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It is a free, easy way of supporting me and my content and staying notified of what I'm going to make next. I'm working on an AOTY series. I can't wait to talk about Ariana Grande's discography, and it kicks off this Friday with my review of Positions. As always, see you next video.